Okay, thank you for joining us back here again. This I'm doing just to show you how Timothy Stark's comment did not actually go up on YouTube. I'm going to verify it for you. And this was 4 hours after he made the comment. And I'm just showing you that the comment is not in the comments of the video. And this is 4 hours after it. And J1428 apologized about what he said on the previous video in the comments section, and that's the sign of a man. A real man apologizes. Now, there's a difference between apologizing and saying that you're sorry. And I'm just showing you it wasn't even held for review right here. And the difference between apologizing and saying you're sorry is that apologize, the root of that word is Apollo, like the Greek god. Sorrow, or sorry, being sorry for somebody, the root of that word is sorrow. So keep that in mind when you're making apologies to people. If you don't wish to say you're sorry, don't say you're sorry. If apologizing, say I apologize to you, is more fitting in that context, then personally, that's what I would say. And you can see here where Smashfoot Lefty made this comment 8 hours ago. So the Timothy Stark's comment still isn't up there. It's not actually in the video comments. Not at all. Not at all. And this is what I'm talking about with YouTube. See, since everybody communicates over the internet now, all the government really has to do is control the internet, and then they control how people communicate, what they say, who they can get in touch with, who they can't get in touch with. They can control the perception of what's actually going on by how many likes, dislikes. We all know that YouTube has blatantly come out and said that they've taken away dislikes from Joe Biden's videos because they say trolls are just doing it. Well, everybody has to have a YouTube account if they're going to leave a like or a dislike. So it has to be their own personal account. They're just stopping the public from seeing what the real public feelings are, how people really feel. And this is a technique: divide and rule. Divide and rule. See, I'm trying to look right here for how do I put this up? How do I put this up on the channel? I don't know, because I've tried this before. And this, I just found this little button, and it took me to the comment actually in the channel, and that's how I figured out how to put this up. But let me ask you a question. Why did this happen in the first place? Because computers can't do something like this unless somebody programs them to. Keep that in mind. Alright, so why do I say keep that in mind? And it's kind of simple. I just recently looked at a document where multiple attorney generals from multiple different states are writing to Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. I mean, the document's actually addressed to Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey, I think, whoever runs Twitter. And it's literally telling them to get rid of free speech. It's saying coronavirus misinformation is causing big problems. And you see, the government, by law, can't restrict your speech. Like, you have freedom of speech. It doesn't mean that they don't do it. But corporations, they have no obligation to give you freedom of speech. And this is a problem because if governments and corporations, these fictional entities, if they can control what you see, what you hear, who you can communicate with, then effectively they can control you. They can control you. And that's a big problem. And I've seen this problem for a minute. And I've been thinking about it. Which is why I gotta say, Timothy, my man, if you got $25 to send, just send 20. Because you seem like you're in dire straits, brother. And I know that there is something I'm gonna do at the end of this month that you're gonna wish to have $5 for. So I wish for you to keep it so that you can use it for that purpose. And I really, really appreciate your comment. And Jay, 1428, I really appreciate you apologizing. It lets me know you're not just some troll, that you're a real individual. And I'm glad and hope you're a part of this conspiracy and you continue with it moving forward. Because there are a lot of people in the counterculture that I've tried to partner up with, to get up with. And it seems really weird because it's like everybody kind of has their own thing going on and they don't really want to share. And they don't really want to feel competition. They just wish to be their own little king in their own little kingdom. Well, if the public goes with somebody like that, you know, Machiavelli wrote a book called The Prince that talked about it. And then your next sovereign is no more just than your last one was. Just becomes tyrannical again. Now, I also wish to give you hope because there are some people who wish to work together. And I believe in this. I believe it's going to happen. I believe it's going to happen because I just couldn't imagine a heavenly Father that would have it any other way. I just couldn't imagine a heavenly Father that would abandon his children. I couldn't imagine any father that would abandon their child or mother. And speaking about mothers, it's Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day, everybody. Especially those moms who may not have their child right now. Like Angela Freiner. We still need to find out where her daughter is, Delilah. Mimi Epstein. We still got to make sure that she gets her daughter back. And Jessica Hides out in Oregon. She's going to be a part of some stories coming up that I believe you're going to be really interested in because it proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that the courts don't have law. The courts don't have law because she went to swear out that warrant and they told her she can't do it without a police officer's permission. So a cop can pick somebody up on the side of the road, find a Lortab in their pocket, take them to jail immediately, swear out a warrant immediately. They haven't caused any harm, injury, or loss. They haven't hurt nobody except maybe themselves with them drugs. But you're telling me that a woman can't go in and swear out a warrant against somebody who obviously did her wrong? She can't go place any facts upon the record. They gotta have a police officer do it because they can't place any facts upon the record because they have no first-hand knowledge. And think about this for a minute because it's Mother's Day. And I always talk about the father. I always talk about my man up there. And my man up there, he made mothers. And he entrusted them with his children. That is a sacred trust. That is a sacred bond. There's not one mom who's watching this. There's not one dad who's watching this that does not understand that. And in our society, we're allowing a fiction called government to trespass upon that sacred trust. How insane is that? We're allowing a fiction to harm real people. What do you think that man would think? And it's not going to stop unless we all come together and do something about it. See, at the end of this month, I'm going to start a political society. Not a political party, a political society, because it's going to be helpful and open to all people in society. It's not just going to have talking points. It's going to respect all rights. And it's going to take people getting involved. And if you feel like the government's doing a great job and you don't see any problems, then you're probably not going to be a part of it. You probably won't. But if we can't stop the government from taking children wrongfully, and you look at what's going on in St. Louis, Missouri, I have seen enough family court cases where they obviously give the children to the parent who should not have them. And then they obviously take away the children from the parents who should. And they couldn't consistently get this happening this way unless it was a plan, unless it was on purpose. It's not an accident. It's not an accident when Delilah goes into a court and says, "That man molests me." And then the thing makes her go with that man, and when she won't go, the thing locks her up in a hospital, still makes her go, but we don't actually know, because we don't actually know where she is. It's not by accident. It's not by accident they tell you that you have freedom of speech, that you have free speech, but then when people go and post stuff about what's going on in the courts, when the courts are supposed to be free and open to the public, they arrest them, like Angela. It's not by accident. And the thing that's really scary about Angela's little situation right now is that they actually got a grand jury indictment. Can you believe that? You see, the government has to have us do this to each other. They have to have us do this to each other. That's why we have trial by juries. Because fictions can't harm what's real. But real people can harm other real people. It's wrong. It's wrong. And it's just that simple. It's just that simple. Anyways, here's a shout out to all the mothers, especially Angela, Mimi, Jessica, all the other mothers who don't have their children right now. Happy Mother's Day, and hopefully we can make sure that this doesn't happen to your children or their children. But people, we gotta wake up. One last announcement. I really do wish to thank and let everybody know that I appreciate the donations that have been coming in. I know that this channel is, some people don't wish to be announced because, well, some people just wish to remain anonymous. Some people believe the government's going to target them. Anyways, we're going to be sending out emails, and we've had some issues communicating. But we're sending out emails to see if you wish to be mentioned for donating. Then we would love to say your name and thank you personally. And if you don't, that's fine. That's fine. And leaving I just wish to say I kind of contend that the reason things work this way is because they're supposed to. And the reason why the YouTube numbers are fudged and social media is working the way it's supposed to do and this and that, it has to do with this was the real purpose of the NSA. This was the real purpose of the NDAA Act. This was the real purpose of the Patriot Act. This was the real purpose. And that's just my opinion. Kind of like it's just my opinion that the First Amendment protecting freedom of religion was not about the Protestants, the Protestants coming out of England. In my opinion, the real reason that we have freedom of religion here in America is because every other country in the world, every other place in the world would hunt down satanic cults. Kill them. Government couldn't do that here in America because we got freedom of religion. Look at our culture today. Less and less people believing in God all the time. Less and less people going to church. And I don't blame that on anything except for what the church is doing. Because if you look at all the social programs that the government has right now, it used to be the church's job. It used to be the church's job. Anyways, I also just wish to be real clear. I'm not asking anybody for money. I'm just letting the public know what it costs to keep this going. If it's worth it to them, they'll purchase it. They'll purchase it. But look at what I did with $10,000 or $11,000 in 1 year. What do you think I could do with $100,000? What do you think I could do with $1 million? Because I'm not a selfish person. And addressing the issue about my son, I know that my son's going to be taken care of. For sure. Something could happen to me tomorrow. He'll be alright. I also know that if we don't change this world, if we don't change the things that are going on, none of it matters. None of it matters. I'm not just trying to save my son. My goal is to save every child. Because I might not be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven, but I'm going to do my best to climb that ladder as high as I can. I hope you join me. We are Just Conspiracy, and we just wish to conspire with other good people on this planet to leave a better world for future generations than the world we all grew up in. One world love and peace.